Am I mean for kicking out one of my bridesmaids for showing up with the wrong dress? My wedding was back on Saturday, December 31st, and I'm still getting backlash from this, so I want to know if this was a mean move. In the country I live in, it's currently winter, and we get a fair amount of snow, so my wedding was a winter-themed wedding. The color theme was forest green and gold. My dress was obviously white, and I chose the color of my bridesmaids' dresses to be forest green as well. My maid of honor dress was black, and everyone was wearing gold accessories. I have this friend, Kat, that I asked to be one of my bridesmaids. When we went dress shopping, I told them the color theme I was going for. Kat immediately expressed that she thought forest green was a bad choice. She said she thinks it's not a flattering color, and thought I should choose something different and more girly. I said no, because my wedding was winter-themed and I thought the color would go perfect with the theme. She suggested pink, blue, even red. I said no, but thanks for your opinion. She found out my maid of honor's dress was black and asked if she could wear black too. I said no, only my maid of honor is wearing black. I paid for all the dresses for all my bridesmaids. Fast forward to wedding day, everyone's getting their hair and makeup done, and Kat showed up 30 minutes late holding a bag that looked like it had a dress inside. I asked her what this was for. She told me it was for later on at the reception if she got uncomfortable and wanted to change after pictures. I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, we're all dressed and walking down the stairs, because the ceremony is beginning in 30 minutes, and we were going to take some pictures before. Kat is the last person to come down and she's wearing a black dress. At the time I was preoccupied taking pictures with my parents, but my maid of honor came over to me and made me aware of the situation. I confronted Kat and asked her what was going on. She said she hates her bridesmaid dress, as the color is ugly and makes her look gross, so she's wearing black. I told her please go back and change. She refused and started walking away from me. I said I'm going to ask her one more time, and if she doesn't oblige I'm calling security and kicking her out. She began yelling at me to piss off, so I called security and asked them to please escort her out. She started making a big scene yelling how I'm such an evil B-word. That I can't force her to wear anything and that I'm a horrible, inconsiderate friend. The wedding went on and it was truly amazing. Ever since the wedding, Kat has been blowing up my phone with texts saying some really nasty things, and asking for the money back she spent on the black dress, since it was a waste and she didn't get to wear it. I had to block her number. Some of my other bridesmaids have been giving me crap saying that it was a little harsh kicking her out, and embarrassing her like that. And that maybe I should give her the money back. So, am I a jerk for kicking her out?
Am I a jerk for telling my wife it was a mistake to stay at the baby shower? So my wife and I have been married for a year and began trying to conceive in September. No luck so far, but the doctor did say at our first appointment that it typically takes close to a year for most couples to conceive. She's been telling people that she's infertile, which isn't true. The doctor said she isn't. My wife and I went to my work Christmas party in mid-December, where my wife met my co-worker's wife, let's call her Mary, and they took a liking to each other. Mary was pregnant and invited my wife to her baby shower, which was yesterday, and my wife sounded excited to go. I asked her when we were alone if she thinks she'll be fine. I know my wife and I know what typically bothers her. I knew she wouldn't bask in happiness over someone else's pregnancy, so I urged her to think it through. She said she's fine and she was excited, so she went. The baby shower was yesterday. About 40 minutes in, she calls me and asks me to come. I was at a cafe nearby because I knew she wouldn't stay long. I find her at the entrance of the house crying and a bunch of women consoling her. When she saw me, she came to me and pulled me to the garden to talk. She said she was dancing and looked at Mary's pregnant belly and couldn't take it anymore, started crying and ran out. All of Mary's friends followed her out to console her. I consoled her myself and said, okay, let's go, babe. Where do you want to go? We can go for a drive so you can feel better. She looked at me weird and asked why she would leave. I asked why she would stay. She said she feels better now and can go have a good time. I sighed and said, babe, you know that's not going to happen. And I doubt the attention will be on Mary after this, and that's not great. It's her baby shower and she deserves to be celebrated. I can't see how people are going to shift their focus from consoling you to celebrating her if you're still there. She rolled her eyes at me and said she was going back in and that I could leave. 3 hours later, the party was nearing its end, so I go back to pick her up. My coworker and I stepped into the house, and lo and behold, everyone is sitting in a circle with my wife being the center of attention. Coworker looked for his wife and she wasn't there at all. He called her and she said she had left ages ago. My wife and I entered the car and I first asked her how she was feeling and we spoke about it for a few minutes. I then asked her what happened and why Mary left. She said, "Oh crap, Mary. I forgot to say bye to her. I told her Mary left ages ago." I then said, "I know you're going through a hard time, but why on earth would you and her friends do this? If they consoled you for a few minutes, that's fine, but the entire party? We really should have left earlier." She looked at me so offended and said, "Are you Mary's husband or mine?" We stared at each other for a while and just drove home in silence. I told her I wanted to talk to her this morning to sort things out, but she ignored me and left the house.
Am I a jerk for cursing at my boyfriend's family because I am scared of Teslas? I spent last night with my boyfriend's family. We'd gone out to dinner and his dad was gonna drive. So my boyfriend, me, his parents, and his brother all squeezed into his dad's car and we went to the restaurant. I had a few drinks and his dad had too, since he was gonna drive. But on the way back, his dad started asking me, "You work on self-driving cars, yeah?" "I do, I'm a systems engineer and have job hopped between a handful of autonomy companies." He started asking me how I liked his Tesla, and I joked, "Just fine as long as you're the one driving it." And he asked me what I thought about FSD, which he'd just bought. He asked if he should turn it on. I said not with me in the car, and he then laughed and asked how I was still so scared when I work with this stuff every day. I was like, it's because I. But stopped when he pulled over and literally started turning it on. I was like, "I'm not kidding, let me out of the car if you're gonna do this," and my boyfriend's dad and brother started laughing at me, and my boyfriend still wasn't saying anything. His dad was like, "It'll be fine," and I reached over my boyfriend's little brother and tried the door handle, which was locked. I was getting mad, and probably more so because I was tipsy, and I yelled at him, "Let me the F out." My boyfriend started trying to tell me to calm down because I was drunk, and I told him that it didn't matter, I'd be outta here sober or drunk. He told me to stop cussing in front of his little brother, and I told him to tell his dad to cut his shit out and I wouldn't have anything to cuss over. His dad was like, "Fine." I didn't realize it'd be such a big deal and drove home normally, but things have been tense as hell. We got back to his house and he was mad at me for overreacting the first time I met his family all together. I got angry and was like, "I'm not the one who decided to do the one thing that I said I'm not comfortable with in the car," just after I asked him not to laugh at me. He said that his dad used the car a lot, and it was fine, and I asked him, since we're both rock climbers, would he ever get on a route with his carabiner that doesn't lock? What if someone says they do it all the time and it's fine? He was like, "Absolutely not, but that's different," and I was like, "It's literally not. Just like we don't know any climbers who'd do that shit, nobody in my field that I know would stay in that car." He got mad and told me to go to sleep. I was drunk. But honestly today, I woke up sober and I stand by what I did, like I wasn't comfortable with what was happening, and my boyfriend's family all laughed and started trying to do the one fucking thing I said no to. Like whatever that thing is, it's fucked up. AITA for yelling at my boyfriend's dad to let me out of the car.